why take unnecessary risk and punishment?
Sure.
If you can get guys out in the first and second round, then why not?
But at the same time, he may go in there and get absolutely schooled by Oleksandr Usyk, or he might knock him out. I don't know. But personally, at 20, you know, you got to get it right. And Frank, like I said, Frank knows what he's doing, and I think I'd be very surprised if they took that kind of test.
Mike Tyson was 20 years and 5 months when he wins the heavyweight championship of the world. Don't take anything away from Moses Itauma. He could have done that to Dillian in the pomp of his career. You know, there's nobody in the world right now apart from Oleksandr Usyk, Tyson Fury, who he couldn't pick holes.
Moses Itauma has quickly become one of the most talked about young names in boxing, boldly declaring himself a threat to heavyweight king Oleksandr Usyk. His latest claim that he would knock out the Ukrainian master inside just 2 rounds has set the boxing world buzzing. Such statements grab headlines, but many see them as reckless.
2 rounds, like I'm prepared to go for 10 rounds. If it goes that, it goes that. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But like these fights that I'm going into, I'm not going into them thinking I'm gonna knock him out in the first or second round.
Bravado rather than grounded reality. After all, Usyk has conquered the most dangerous men in the sport, from Anthony Joshua to Daniel Dubois, and done so with a calm, clinical brilliance. For a 20-year-old to think he can topple one of the greatest technicians of this era so easily comes across as youthful arrogance more than a credible threat. But Itauma doesn't stop there. He insists his skill set is already...
I know any heavyweight has enough force, has enough power, has enough pressure to cause damage to me. So that's why it's just the safest way to not
superior to Usyk's, painting himself as a rising genius whose abilities outshine even the reigning heavyweight champion. Yet in the same breath, he concedes his lack of experience, particularly in the grueling championship stages of big fights. And those later rounds are precisely where...
I think that's a dreadful fight for Moses Itauma. I just think to throw this kid into the wolves at this stage so early in his career, I just don't get what for. He's a young man, let him develop the same as every other fighter, let him learn his trade.
Usyk thrives where raw talent gets exposed and true champions separate themselves from the pretenders. Former world champion Tony Bellew is one of the voices urging caution. He warns that throwing an untested youngster in with a proven champion like Usyk would be reckless. In his eyes, a fight now would expose Moses' inexperience far quicker.
Moses Itauma is a good fighter, there's no doubt about it. And one day he can go on to be great. But right now he's looking at a generational great in Oleksandr Usyk. And right now, I don't think he'd be
quicker than it would highlight his talent. Bellew, who has seen the highs and lows of stepping into the ring with the elite, knows exactly how brutal the gap can be between hype and reality. Duke McKenzie added even more weight to that warning. While he acknowledges Moses' raw ability, McKenzie makes it crystal clear he is nowhere.
The thing that I worry about with Moses is the size. But ultimately, as we've seen now, size becomes irrelevant because look what Oleksandr Usyk's done. This guy's gone out and beaten everyone, including me. He's exceptional. So I don't think Moses is going to be as technically as good as Oleksandr Usyk, but he's the next in line. I think he's the future of the heavyweight division. I think he's next outstanding.
Near Usyk's level at this stage, Usyk has spent years perfecting his craft, building an unbeaten legacy across 2 divisions. He's not just good, he defines greatness in this heavyweight era. McKenzie points out that while Moses is praised for his size and potential, size has never been enough against Usyk. The Ukrainian has made a career out of toppling giants with skill and precision. For now, Moses may be a future contender, but Usyk's technical brilliance remains far beyond his reach. Trainer Dave Coldwell also weighed in, praising Moses' confidence and fighting spirit.
He's a fighter, he's a winner, he's got plenty of ambition, and he truly believes that he can go in there and beat any man in the world right now, and that includes Oleksandr Usyk. Do I personally think it's too soon? Yes, I do. Usyk's he's a different breed, he's a different fighter. Yes, he's getting older.
Coldwell admires the young man's self-belief and willingness to call out the very best. However, he doesn't let excitement blind him to reality. Coldwell is firm that a fight with Usyk right now would come far too early. Usyk's unmatched ring IQ, composure, and technical mastery still set him apart from the entire division. Coldwell reminds everyone that while age and wear may slightly impact Usyk, his championship experience and ability to adapt mid-fight make him a nightmare puzzle to solve. Respecting Moses' potential, Coldwell warns that
this guy have more opponent, you know. Not okay. Give me Usyk. Every time, every people who is just win one fight, one good fight. Okay, next Usyk. No problem. No problem for Alex Usyk. You know this guy. This guy 3-time undisputed. 4-time, 5-time. This no.
stepping into Usyk's world without seasoning against top-level opponents could end in disaster. From Team Usyk's side, manager Sergey Lapin has been quick to downplay the hype surrounding Moses. He emphasizes that Usyk has faced countless next big things before, and he has beaten them all. As a multiple-time undisputed champion, Usyk thrives under pressure. Lapin is clear 1 or 2 big wins aren't enough to threaten a fighter of Usyk's pedigree. Until Moses consistently beats top-tier opposition, Usyk won't see him as a genuine danger. That said, Lapin's tone wasn't
Last fight, Itauma, this good fight. Turkey is good man. This organizate more big fighter, more big event, and we see what we do, what next step, and we see what proposition with about.
Dismissive. He acknowledged Moses' latest victory, an impressive win over Dillian Whitey, and admitted the youngster is a big talent. But he also issued a stark warning facing Usyk now would be extremely risky. With strategic brilliance, defensive mastery, and unrivaled big fight experience, Usyk remains one of the hardest puzzles in world boxing. Timing, Lapin hinted, is everything. Moses needs more development, more high-pressure fights, and more rounds under the bright lights before stepping up.
He has the more experience on his side, Itauma.
That's it. Absolutely.
You know, another 4 or 5 fights down the line, then you're looking at an absolute wrecking ball. Then he would beat everybody put in front of him.
They said
but
Saturday,
nobody's
didn't
going to.
they?
Yeah, nobody's
They
going to
said Saturday who's going to give them rounds. That's what he was saying. He wanted them out.
Nobody beats Usyk right now.
Stepping into a championship-level clash. McKenzie doubled down on that point. He sees Moses as a future superstar, but insists patience is essential. With 4 or 5 more fights against quality opposition, McKenzie believes Moses could transform into an absolute wrecking ball. But he draws a firm line at this very moment. Nobody beats Usyk. The Ukrainian's adaptability, elite skills, and championship mentality leave him untouchable. Building carefully now will prepare Moses for the inevitable big clashes later. Respected trainer Russ Anber, however, provided perhaps the strongest praise for Moses so far. He called the 20-year-old one of the best young fighters boxing has seen in years, not because of headlines or hype, but because of what he's shown inside the ring. Anber highlights Moses' technical precision, crisp footwork, intelligent punch selection, and remarkable composure under pressure.
I think Moses is one of the best young fighters boxing has seen in years. And I'm not just saying that based on a result over Dillian. I hope you understand, when I look at a fighter, I'm looking at things that others don't see. I'm not looking at the hype. I'm looking at what he does in the ring, how he does it, his skill set. You know, I'm looking at that because that's the important stuff. And right now, to me, he's shown probably
pressure as hallmarks of a naturally gifted fighter. Unlike some analysts, Anber dismisses the Whitey victory as the sole reason for excitement. Instead, he points to the consistency Moses shows every time he steps between the ropes. In Anber's view, Moses already possesses a higher skill set than most fighters his age, something that could separate him from his peers in the long term. But even he stops short of saying Moses is ready for Usyk now. Anber's analysis is about potential, not immediate readiness. The foundation is elite, but the long-term development remains the key. Former unified world champion Amir Khan also chimed in, stressing a factor often overlooked in the hype: timing. At just 20, Khan argues Moses has plenty of time to develop physically and mentally. He advises waiting until Moses is around 22 or 23 before stepping in with the likes of Usyk, Wilder, Joshua, or Fury. Drawing from his own experience, Khan...
But you don't want to rush him. You want to take it easy. You want to take it slow. Don't rush him. Let him enjoy. He's still 20 years old. Let him get to 22, 23 years old. That's then you start putting him in with the top names in boxing, like the Usyks and like the Wilders or even the Joshuas and the Furies. At the moment, I think you should keep on building him. Let him...
knows how dangerous it can be to fast-track young fighters. Many have seen their careers derailed by being rushed into the deep end too soon. Khan's advice aligns with a long-term vision, a calculated build-up, sharpening technique, and gathering experience against quality opposition will set Moses up to be unstoppable when he eventually faces the giants of the division. Heavyweight boxing is unforgiving, and facing champions too early could expose weaknesses that stall his rise. Adding another perspective, journalist Gareth A. Davies pointed out that timing isn't just about Moses's growth. It's also about Usyk's career clock. Usyk is already in his mid to late 30s, edging closer to the twilight of his time in the sport. By the time Moses matures fully, Usyk could be 40 or retired, potentially uninterested in taking the risk of facing a hungry young...
I'm not sure that Usyk will want to fight Moses if he's 40 already. So maybe the clock is ticking. The clock is clicking. The clock is ticking for Moses to fight Usyk before he's 40. Maybe as well, he won't want to ruin his legacy, but maybe if Turki Al-Sheikh, who wants to see the fight, put up enough money, maybe he will fight him, and maybe the legacy will be ruined. But maybe if he fights him before he's 40, is the
young lion. Davies also raised the financial angle. If promoters like Turki Al-Sheikh put up enough money, Usyk might be tempted, despite the danger to his legacy. But if negotiations drag too long, the chance could vanish entirely. For Moses' team, the challenge is balancing patience with opportunity. Wait too long, and they might miss the chance to fight Usyk altogether. What's clear is that Moses Itauma's rise has shaken the heavyweight division, sparking debate across the boxing world. Experts are divided. Some, like Russ Anber, believe his technical brilliance already puts him on a different level than most prospects. Others, like Amir Khan, warn against rushing him into elite fights too soon, arguing that steady growth is the smarter path. Meanwhile, Gareth A. Davies warns that Usyk's age could shut the window for a showdown if they wait too long. The only certainty is that Moses' talent is undeniable. Every decision from here will shape his legacy. Does he chase Usyk now and risk everything? Or does he wait, build experience, and strike when he's fully ready to seize the throne? The heavyweight landscape is changing fast, and fans are eager to see whether Moses will rise to the challenge. Should he gamble on greatness now or bide his time for a more certain shot later? One thing's for sure, the boxing world will be watching closely.